There's going to be a huge inquiry now in the Republican Party as to what went wrong. And there's no doubt that the culprit will be Mitt Romney. He was their standard bearer. He would seem to have failed at a time when, the economy is not in a great shape. There has been all sorts of issues with regards to the Benghazi investigation, for example. There are questions to be asked about the administration. And a logical thing to do would have been to take the battle to Obama on those issues much more strongly. Perhaps fundamentally the Republicans just suffered from a weak field this time. Every now and again you get a cycle. The Democrats have strong candidates. 4 years ago, I think either Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama would have made a credible candidate for the presidency. This time round, if you look at the people who were running for the Republican field, it was a weak field. An awful lot of minuscule individuals, people from the House of Representatives, for example, not senior level politicians. Newt Gingrich, someone who was at his prime in the mid-1990s. So Mitt Romney, who had also been around the block once or twice before, of course, was the strongest of a very weak field. He has ultimately suffered from the very process that he had to endure to become the candidate. So he had to enter into the Republican Party field. He was referred to as being a rhino, R-I-N-O, a Republican in name only, meaning he was campaigning as a Republican, but in many ways many people felt he wasn't a Republican. He was not strong enough on various issues. He was too liberal, if you will. And coming from Massachusetts, where he'd been the governor, many people were very suspicious of him. So how did he counter that? He ran strongly to the right and referred to himself many ways as, a very severe conservative. Well, anybody who knew Mitt Romney and who'd studied his career knew that this was completely false. But he had to say these things. He could not afford to be outflanked to his right if he was ever to achieve the nomination. And so you saw through a series of primaries, he eviscerated his opponents and ran a heavily negative campaign, which cost an awful lot of money, a lot of his own money, so that by the time he emerged as the Republican Party candidate in the summer, a lot of people were asking the very obvious question, well, who are you, Mitt Romney? Are you moderate Mitt, that had governed in Massachusetts, or are you the extreme conservative who you've been parading yourself around as for the last 6 to 12 months to try and get the Republican nominee? The problem fundamentally is that that's an intrinsic flaw in how the Republican Party and the Democratic Party put their candidates together. You have to go to the extreme of your party to get the nomination and then track back to the centre to try desperately to get that middle ground, bring a party coalition together so you can form unity and take it against your opponents in the fall. And singularly, I think, not enough people fundamentally believed in their hearts that Mitt Romney was the right Republican to lead the battle against Barack Obama. And he failed, I think, to inspire passion. If you hear Barack Obama speak, whether one agrees with his politics or not, he's a wonderful orator and conveys a sense of passion in his speech. Mitt Romney is not. Maybe a very charming gentleman, a very philanthropic individual. However, I think that his speaking styles fundamentally cost him, and he wasn't prepared, I don't think, to really wield the knife and take the dagger to Barack Obama over the policies which could perhaps have won in the White House in 2012.